'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPUp's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Moolah Ric Flair, showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, Roman Reigns and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPUp's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wrestling RHAPUp podcast. I'm your host, Mari Forth, and with me, as always, my co-host, Mr. Matt Scott. Matt, how's it going?
What the hell? Wait.
I don't know what you're referencing. We also have
what?
AJ Norris in the house.
What's good, Mari? Everything natural.
And of course, we can't do it without our Filipino sensation, Mr. Stan C in the house.
Yes, the Wrestling RHAPUp's #1 Stan is back. Wait,
Yes.
I gotta bring the attention back
So
to that
confused.
big glaring thing on your shoulder,
what?
Mari.
Yeah,
This?
wait. Okay, first of all, and if you're listening to the audio,
This?
there was just a loud bang, and now I'm beside myself. Mari, what
This?
the hell is? What are you?
It's my fantasy football championship belt. I won my league this year. I just felt like
Hey.
I just had to bring this to the podcast. I just got it.
Hey,
It just got sent to me
nice.
today after the season is officially over. So,
That's funny.
just thought I brought it on the podcast. Why
Hold
not?
on. Let me just say this. First of all, Mari, this is pro
Yes.
wrestling, not
Okay.
fantasy football. So let's not play those
Same thing.
games. Number two, the championship on your shoulder looks like a mirror, and you can barely see the detail work on it.
I made
so
it
was
really
very
shiny.
confused.
I
You
made it
shine.
really shiny. I shined it up. It says fantasy football. It got like the AFC on one side and it got the NFC on the other, It's just things we do over here,
Baby. Oh my God. Pause. I'm loving this
so
energy, Matt.
upset.
This is great energy. This is great content. I don't know why
I'm
you're upset.
so angry. I'm so angry right now.
football,
I'm
sports.
so angry.
Like,
Oh,
Okay.
this,
All
this
right.
is not that
Okay.
Matt,
podcast.
you know how hard it is to win a fantasy league? It's not
I mean,
easy.
No,
Okay.
I do. I
Yeah, it's
very
don't,
hard.
but I
Incredibly
do.
difficult.
I will say, it seemed very hard for Mari to put that championship on her shoulder. So
You a hater.
I
Matt is a
am. And
hater.
also, you know what? I'm a pro wrestling fan. I'm here defending all the pro wrestling fans out there that don't need that fantasy football mess. We're here for reality. All we do is consume real stuff. We don't do that scripted
Real
fantasy mess. This is real. It's real to me, damn it.
Yes. Okay.
Nice.
All right. Well, fantasy football championship aside, I am so
Oh,
glad to be
fired up.
here with this crew. And today we are talking all things Elimination Chamber. We will be previewing.
You got this.
Previewing
I mean, that's a word-ish, right?
and giving our predictions for the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event that is live this Saturday, February 18th in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So,
Yes.
team, everybody, before we get into the highlights of the week, let's just let's get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way. No news today. So if you haven't already subscribed to our podcast feed, go to robhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed to rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps us out every time you subscribe, so please go and do that right now. Hopefully you are also looking at our beautiful faces and my very shiny championship over on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page. You can go to the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page and search Wrestling RHAPUp. So let's get into it. Let's just we're jumping right in. Just right on.
Jump into the chamber.
Oh, yes, there you go. Well, not the chamber though, but so we're going to talk about the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match between the current champion Roman Reigns versus the underdog from the underground, Sami Zayn.
Ooh.
Whew, this is exciting. AJ, you look excited. You're excited for this match?
Oh, I'm so excited. Yes, I'm extremely excited for this match. I'm like, like I enjoy like Sami Zayn with my entire heart, And this bloodline feud storyline is so good. Roman Reigns has been killing it, in my humble opinion. Like,
Mhm.
I'm confident with what I predict is going to happen, but you have two great
Oh.
workers in the ring. If they're given the chance, it's going to be a great match. Maybe even match of the night.
Exactly. I
Yes.
love it. How about you, Matt? How are we feeling about the bloodline, Sami Zayn of it all?
This is where the magic happens, Mari. Like, this is what it's about. We know that we need to get to WrestleMania where Cody Rhodes will be competing for that. I was gonna say that championship, but those championships.
Uh-huh.
But Sami Zayn is in the way, and Cody does seem to think that he's gonna be facing Sami at Mania. So just saying, anything could happen. I love the unpredictability. I love the idea that both Usos are staying at home when, like, legally one of them can still enter the Canada.
Oh God.
So I'm into this. I love what we're getting here, and this is a great match to start out talking about.
Yeah, so on Monday we get a segment with Sami and Cody because like you mentioned, Cody won the Royal Rumble. He will be facing whoever is the undisputed WWE champion at WrestleMania. But before we get there, Sami is taking on Roman at Elimination Chamber. And we got a little bit here of Sami coming to the ring, wanting to talk to Cody face to face. We have our two top baby faces here, and Sami is basically looking for assurance and advice from Cody, and Cody is giving it to him. Stan. I know. The championship went to my head, y'all. So Stan, how do we feel about this promo between Cody and Sami Zayn?
I wouldn't say it's on the level of Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman from the week prior, but I think it was a great promo all on its own because it establishes the fact that Sami knows he can get to that level because he'd been NXT champion before. He'd been to the top, on a different brand, but he also acknowledges the fact that, no pun intended, that Roman Reigns has become this huge cult of personality who's got all these resources at his disposal. And I compare it to going up against the government. Like, what you're going up against, right? You're not just going up against that one man. You're going up against the entire army that this man has amassed. So that's what Sami's up against. It's an entire uphill battle. And in saying that, I want to compare it a bit to the Eddie Guerrero addiction promo from 2004, right before No Way Out. See, we're recording this on February 15th, your time, which is 19 years to the day when Eddie Guerrero won the WWE Championship. That's why I'm wearing my Eddie shirt. I rewatched that promo and the Brock Lesnar match last night before I went to bed.
Yeah.
And there are some similarities I'm seeing here, just some parallelisms from my Eddie Guerrero loving heart. Like that promo where Sami finds it so hard to believe in himself. It's like that Eddie Guerrero addiction promo where he's trying to find the words to say that addiction to drugs has now become an addiction to wrestling, to feeding his family, to providing for them. So I see a bit of similarity there in the uphill struggle. And when Eddie went up against Brock Lesnar in 2004, I didn't think he had a chance in hell. The same way I think majority of the fan base probably doesn't think Sami has a chance in hell at all. After watching No Way Out last night from 2004, I'm not sure that I feel that way anymore. I think that there is a bit of hope in Sami actually conquering Roman or forcing his way into a triple threat at Mania.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So for me, I thought the Sami and Cody promo did a few things. So everybody was talking about like, how are we going to make the Cody and Roman story relevant? What Sami's so hot? Will the stories get in the way of each other? And I think they've done it beautifully so far where the stories don't get in the way with each other. Even we have here, like even what feels like a little bit meta where Cody tells Sami to finish the story, almost like stepping out of kayfabe for a minute. And to me, it's smart because it's taking this match that they're teasing. They're teasing Sami versus Cody at WrestleMania because Cody's like, I believe you can do it. I believe we can be standing across the ring from each other at WrestleMania. The crowd was white hot for it. They want it. And now people online are like, that's the dream match that we want. And I think it's perfect because Roman is more than likely or possibly, and if Stan feels like there's a little bit of chance, but Roman is going to be the one who takes that away. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting that heat back onto Roman. It's turning what could be where the audience turns against one of them. People were thinking the audience would turn against Cody. I never believed that, but it takes that from instead of that happening to maybe all the heat going on to Roman. And I think that's very, very smart. I think it's smarter than some of the things they've done in the past where there's a hotter baby face than who you're putting up, and then you try and bury the hotter baby face to try and, you know, push the one that you're pushing. So it feels like they're learning in a sense there. So I really thought this promo was good, but I do have some reservations about it. Anything else about this promo, Matt, before I say my slight reservations about
No, please go ahead. I'm like sitting on pins and needles ready for your reservations.
Oh,
Like
God.
it's like, ooh, it's like a good meal. Like, ooh, let's dive
AJ,
in.
how about you?
Here's my thing about the promo.
Uh-oh.
It makes me like want to root for like Sami more. Like I feel like, oh, Sami, he does not have the faith in himself. He's looking for it from an external force, which is Cody Rhodes, where if things go his way, he's going to be fighting him for those title belts at WrestleMania. Like it made him feel a little weaker to me than like, if that makes sense. Like I watch, he says, yes, there are people that have been bigger than me, stronger than me, more confident than me going into this match with him, and they fell on their butts. However, like Cody said, like he is the person who basically next to dismantled the bloodline. Like he got Paul Heyman shook in the promo from last week.
Right.
Like it's like I want someone at their best fighting Roman Reigns if I want to believe they could actually have a chance. And showing that you have that doubt, like, tells me you might not give 100%. And I wish I had a more like, yeah, this is an uphill battle, but if there's someone that can climb this mountain, it is me, Sami Zayn. Then oh God, I don't know if I want to climb this mountain if I'm ready for this man.
So that kind of feeds into it, because I thought, and I agree with AJ, Sami Zayn had Paul Heyman shook just 4 days before, like, 3 to 4 days before on SmackDown. Like I even went back and watched it. He was very confident to Paul Heyman's face, like, I will be the one to take Roman's belts. He said Roman has 8 days. Like, he was so confident. And then just a few short days later, he's on Raw sitting here doubting himself. So that was a little whiplash for me. That was the only thing that I was kind of like, does this really make sense? Because I agree with AJ. I don't mind the doubt. I think that the little bit of self-doubt was very good, because it firmly places like Sami. It reminds us that he's technically the underdog here. But you don't want it to come off too sloppy. Like Cody should not be like boosting you that much, What do you think, Stan?
I actually disagree that I don't think it's out of the ordinary for someone who has lost all confidence in themselves to one day be so confident that they can kick ass and take names, and then the next day wake up and feel like, I'm about to shit my pants right now. I know, because it's happened to me, and anyone who's ever dealt with any form of anxiety can probably tell you that you vacillate between these two modes on any given day. So I felt it was very relatable, and I kind of want to bring it back to Sami's entire arc from when he first joined the Bloodline, because if you'd seen that 1 hour video on YouTube that WWE posted,
that we linked.
Starts off right. It starts off with Sami approaching the Bloodline because he feels like he's lost the locker room's respect. So in a way, him having no confidence at all kind of ties back into where this all began, because Sami went to the Bloodline because he'd lost all his confidence in himself. And he tried to find himself, his strength in the Bloodline, only to realize that the Bloodline was just siphoning every bit of that out of him even more. So I thought it was a nice way to tie everything back together while integrating Cody Rhodes into his own arc.
Yeah. And I think like the interesting thing about this, like I appreciate what you said, Stan, because I was going to mention something similar, where there's a different dynamic between you being across from your opponent or across from someone who's your rival versus being across from someone who you could relate to and have a bond with. And so like it's the difference between, that kind of like that game time swagger, or the game day swagger that you might have like at a press conference versus like what you would share with someone who you trust, where you're like, look, I do have those doubts. And so for me, like, I didn't love the segment. And I didn't feel like it did a lot other than continue to establish the relationship between Cody and Sami, and the dynamic between Cody and Sami, which I think was the job. Like, that was what this was designed for. So if it's, you know, putting Sami down a little bit and like kind of showing the humanity in him, that he's not invincible, that he's not insanely crazed, but he does have, you know, that those human doubts, and then showing Cody being supportive, that's meant to endear people to Cody even more. And Cody, as this like very emotional character, fits really well in that spot of being genuinely supportive. And so I it all made sense to me. I liked it. And I kind of just saw the purpose of this as like, let's continue to make sure that Cody's set up in the right spot so that he's not, you know, he's not being booed, you know, because everyone loves Sami. And you know, I think it's so funny that people make the comparisons between Cody and Sami, and they bring up Daniel Bryan, and they talk about how the crowd might turn on Cody, when it's like, that all happened when it did, because WWE didn't make certain decisions to like pivot and change, and nobody wants Cody to be buried or booed. And so I think WWE and everyone involved in the creative process will work to ensure that he's in a good spot. Or, you know, if he is getting booed, then maybe it's like, okay, we have to pull him back from this, push Sami forward a little bit more. But like, I don't think that this is going in a bad direction. I think that this is going to continue to be an amazing story.
Yeah, I think they effectively wiped that narrative away, because Cody wasn't getting booed. Like he is currently not getting booed. I think people's thought process before he won the Rumble was maybe he will get booed. You know what I'm saying? And then, but since he's won the Rumble, he's consistently gotten better reactions. We just said that the promo he had with Paul Heyman the other week, people were like, oh, that's the Haymaker, Cody. It's firmly Cody. We want to see Cody versus Roman. So I thought this here again was perfect for setting up that if you don't get what you want, it's Roman's fault. You know what I'm saying? It's not Cody's fault. It's not Sami's fault. It's Roman's fault. So we should be mad at Roman. And I think that's exactly what they want going into the biggest show of the year. They flipped it, so Roman is completely getting like really booed now again. So I think it was really done masterfully, and I think this is exactly the type of problems WWE wants, having two top baby faces where they both are signifying different things, so that they're not really stepping on each other's toes. So you have Cody being that stereotypical, morally sound baby face, that, you know, ethical, I'm gonna do this by hardworking, all-American style baby face. And then you have Sami, who is like the underdog, like the person that you're rooting for because they're gonna have that uphill battle. They're gonna be the ones that have to prove themselves over and over again. They're the everyman's everyman, you know. So, and both of them are just perfectly aligned at the top. And if after WrestleMania both of them have a belt each, I would love to see that, because I think that would open up a lot of doors, and that would give a lot of other superstars ways to try and solidify themselves in the top of the card. But, you know, we can talk about that when we get to it. But I thought this was a great segment going into Elimination Chamber. So let's get into our predictions. Just a reminder that all of the highlights that we're talking about this week can be found in our very trusty highlights playlist that is in your show notes or show description. You can watch and follow along, or, you know, just watch and listen to us, or, you know, whatever. Okay, so Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn, undisputed WWE, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Both the titles. What are our predictions? I will go first. I think we're gonna get Roman winning here. I think we're gonna get him winning. I think we're gonna get him absolutely destroying Sami, so that again, he is just the ultimate big boss guy that people hate, and that you can't wait to see Cody topple at WrestleMania. So that's what I'm gonna go with for Roman. AJ, who you got?
I'm going to co-sign with you, Mari. I think Roman does have this. I also don't think it's going to be clean because
Right.
one thing, I know you've been harping on this for a minute. I don't like the Undisputed Championship. Like I don't like him having both of them. Like full stop. I would like for him to lose one of them. And I think you proposed on the last podcast or something like that I really liked of Roman ultimately having to defend against both Sami and Cody, one on night one, the other on night two, and then possibly dropping one of those. I would like that because again, I think that would be good. And I think Sami Zayn, there's a period of time where I was into WWE like 2016, 2017, and like I was like Sami Zayn, I would love to see him be world champion. No offense to Cody Rhodes, like I love Cody Rhodes doing cool things too, but I just want to see Sami with a world title, and I don't think Elimination Chamber is the time to drop it, especially with Cody on the back burner.
Great. Stan, how about you?
Yeah, I don't think it's a question about who's winning the match. I think the bigger question is who's going to interfere. Because AJ, you mentioned that it's not going to be clean. So are the Usos going to get involved? Is it just Jay? Is it just Jimmy? Is Kevin Owens going to get involved? Right? I think these are the more intriguing questions heading into this main event. And I don't want to put this out into the universe, but man, I really do not want Kevin Owens to get involved and just turn on Sami and we get Kevin versus Sami at Mania once again.
Oh, yeah. So Matt, we did get a question from the Facebook group. Kristen J asked us, since it seems that the Usos won't be in Canada, we eliminate the possibility of Jey Uso interfering with Roman and Sami's match to help either one of them. How do we think the storyline will move forward after the match if Jey won't be there? So would you like to give your prediction and answer that question?
Sure. So, it's a great question by Kristen, actually, because my prediction ties in with that. Kristen, I think I think Sami's getting screwed. Like, we're going to see Sami really come out hot. He's going to come out and he'll have a better performance than you'd think that he would have against Roman Reigns, who in some circumstances could easily dominate someone like Sami Zayn. And so I think that we're going to get Roman winning, screwing Sami. I think that Jey Uso, though, will show up. And that's kind of my prediction about this one. They've been
which
focused.
one of them can't come
Jimmy.
into Canada? Okay.
Jimmy. Yes. The one who can come into Canada. I think that he will be there because in my mind, I just feel like it's really convenient. Yeah, Google it, Mari. Go to the Wikipedia page. There's a whole. I'm not gonna go on and on about the legal aspects, but yes, I think that Jay is gonna show up and screw Sami because ultimately he is loyal to the bloodline. He showed up for Jimmy, and I think that he'll show up for Roman again. And we did see Sami and Jay have a moment oh, I have your back. I acknowledge you. But you know what? I think that this is going to be a swerve, and we're going to see how all-powerful Roman is, which then will set up something for Mania where Sami, I believe, will have another opportunity. I don't think this is the end of that.
Doesn't WWE just love scoring Canadians in their home country?
They really do. And that's part of it for me, too. It's just it's textbook WWE.
Yeah, in Montreal, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was please do not reference the Montreal screw job. We do not need it. Please.
Oh, it's going to get referenced.
No,
they have beat it into the ground.
Look, it's going to happen.
Feel free to reference it on commentary, but don't recreate it again for the.
No, Mari, there's not going to be any ref shenanigans. I think the screwing will happen. It'll just be from a different. Different set of circumstances.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so that is all of us thinking that Roman will win. Maybe Solo comes and does the Samoan Spike, and then it's just easy peasy or something like that,
But where's the drama in that?
True.
Come on, give me action. Give me the action. Let's go, Jay. Book your tickets. Someone check all the airlines to see if he has some tickets booked to Canada.
Please don't do that. That's like
Don't do that. Oh my
that's
God,
stalker
Matt.
behavior.
Jesus.
Please don't encourage
After we
that.
just talked about.
And then show up at the airport.
Hey,
Oh,
can I
God.
just say? Can I
He's
just bring up this
joking.
story real quick? In 2016, when WWE came to Manila, there were some fans who were within my circle who actually got the flight information of the wrestlers, and that creeped me
That's
the f
horrible.
out. I was like,
Yeah.
that is
so
just
creepy.
messed up. So please don't do that.
No, our listeners won't do that. They know better.
Please don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So next up, we have the United States Championship Elimination Chamber match,
Ooh.
where Austin Theory is the current champion going into the match. He will be facing Seth Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Montez Ford. For the winner will take the United States Championship. So this
What's
week
so
on
funny?
Raw,
Yeah.
this week on Raw, we really just got a Miz TV segment where it was like I mean, Seth Rollins was like Seth Rollinsing. I mean, it was the greatest. It was one of the greatest segments I've ever seen in my entire life. Seth Rollins hitting the curb stomp in those crazy boots, the red boots that are all over social media, just being his obnoxious self was amazing. But did this really move the match forward? Miz is asking Seth, can he focus on the United States Championship match when it seems like he's focused on Logan Paul, and Seth beats up Miz a little bit, and then Austin Theory comes to beat up Seth, just as a reminder that they are the two of 6 people in this match. So the storytelling feels a little weird here. Stan, what do you think?
I think that they were trying to juggle Seth's 2 stories with the U.S. Championship and with Logan Paul the same way they're trying to juggle Roman versus Cody and Roman versus Sami. So while that effort is as admirable to me, I just feel like it didn't help the chamber get propped up as much as we would want it to be. So I kind of agree in that sense where I have no idea who's going to walk out the United States champion from the Elimination Chamber just because it's so unpredictable and not exactly in the best way.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that. AJ, what do you think?
Like in my humble opinion, I think what they're trying to do is explain. You can tell me I'm wrong. I think Seth Rollins is the highest profile person in the match. And I think what they're looking trying to do is like explain why he will not be winning this match, why he will not be walking out of this with the US title. So like that's what I feel like they're doing. Also, I don't know why TikTok did this, but like I've been seeing a lot of Seth Rollins TikToks for some reason, and I'm like, this man looks goofy like every single time. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued with the match because I have my preferences. Like I love me some Montez Ford, but like I can't solidly give you like this person will possibly leave out the Elimination Chamber with the United States title. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's honestly kind of tragic because nobody else in the match really has a storyline, like a thorough storyline involving the championship. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think like for this match, like I agree with like the idea that I don't see Seth walking out with the championship here. And I mean, really, Mari, like, what is there to really break down other than who we think is going to be able to walk out based on the stories? Like, Damian Priest hasn't really had that story built up at all. I mean, there's a world where he could walk away with it because he is part of the Judgment Day and just more high profile. Montez is someone who we all love, but there just hasn't been the build to that. And then Johnny Gargano and Bronson Reed are there, but where's the story? So in my mind, I'm just looking at Austin Theory like, what are you going to be doing with that championship at Mania? Because
Mhm.
it would be weird to see you lose it, especially because there was so much story this past fall, really, or so much like tension this past fall for him to win the championship, that I am kind of disappointed that there hasn't been more builds around him even potentially keeping the championship or him going to Mania in some kind of way. So it feels like an incomplete story.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like Johnny Gargano is like too busy with like Dexter and Candice and maybe a Nikki Cross storyline, or The Miz. I mean, him and The Miz have been going back and forth. So it's like he has really no dog in the fight right here. Bronson Reed just returned as a heavy. Um, Damian Priest is doing great things with the Judgment Day, and Montez Ford is amazing. I think, like we said on last week, I think this is just going to be a show out match. Really, I think this is just going to be a match where, especially these four people, like Austin Theory and Seth Rollins aside, I think these four people are going to try to break out and stand out and try and show like I want to be pushed higher up the card. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is Montez's time to shine. I think this is a time for Johnny Gargano to shine. I think Damian Priest and Bronson Reed are going to act as big heavies, big bases. And I mean, and then Austin Theory and Seth Rollins are basically already made men in a sense that Seth Rollins is clearly at the top of the card. Clearly the highest drawing star here, and Austin Theory at the very least has been pushed as such for the past year or so. So I think it's going to be a great match. I truly do. I think that we are going to see some things in this Elimination Chamber that we haven't seen in a long time. Because I think we have a lot of very flexible guys here, like very agile guys. So we might see something that's a little different than some of the big brooding ones that we've seen in the like Elimination Chambers that we've seen in the last years. So I think it's going to be a great match. But honestly, I don't see anybody walking out with the championship except for Austin Theory. I could even see Logan Paul coming out and getting in the way somehow. With distracting Seth Rollins in a way that Seth loses, because I completely 100% agree with AJ. I think they're prepping us for him to lose. So, like Matt said, it's just pick, because it's truly no storyline to really break down here. So I'm definitely gonna go with Austin Theory. Matt, who are you going for?
I'll go with Austin Theory here. But I have a lot of questions about what he'd be doing at Mania. That's like the part that doesn't make sense to me. But
Yeah, did Brian suggested maybe Austin versus John Cena at Mania, I think, when he was on.
that's
with
the
the
room. That was a rumor at one point. Who knows?
Who
It feels
knows, yeah.
random. It could happen.
Stan, how about you?
Yeah, you guys mentioned John Cena, and Austin Theory has been hinting at facing John Cena somewhere down the road. So why not do it at Mania? I have no idea. I haven't really seen a lot of rumors and innuendo about it. But
Yeah.
if Austin Theory versus John Cena is happening, I don't think they need the United States Championship, which is why I'm going to predict Damian Priest, because it's about time to give the Judgment Day their teeth back. And I guess they have been getting their teeth back with the whole mommy of it all and Dom being prison Dom. But I think having Damian Priest carry the United States Championship with the Judgment Day makes them even more intimidating than they ever have been.
I like that. I like that. AJ, how about you?
It's hard. This is probably the hardest match for me to predict. Full stop. My gut coming in was like, maybe it's Damian Priest, but because I also think Rhea Ripley is going to get the women's championship soon.
Yeah.
But I don't need to see another faction have all the titles again. Like, well, not again, not so soon, because we just seen that. So I was like, I don't know about Damian Priest. And the story I'm told about Austin Theory should lose this match. Like, I don't know how this kid keep winning matches, especially with his cowardice way of playing the game. And I think the Elimination Chamber is like one of those matches where it's like, you got to show up because you ain't got nowhere to hide in this one, baby boy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, to be different, because I like being different. You know what? Let's put some optimism out there. I'm going to say Montez Ford.
Yeah, I would love if Montez won it. And if Montez did win the belt, maybe they could sow some jealousy seeds between him and Dawkins, because
How dare you?
what?
How dare you?
Well, Dawkins lost his Elimination Chamber match to Damian Priest. So it could definitely sow the, like, I didn't even get a chance at the Elimination Chamber. Montez got in. Montez wins. Maybe you sow the seeds for them breaking up.
Honestly,
And you could
if
honestly do that without the belt too. But
if that's what breaks them up, it's just sad. Like
yeah,
you can't just let the fact that your teammate is better than you break you up. In fact, that's a good reason to stay with them. So, Mari, I'm glad you said it. I'm gonna knock on wood, just make sure that doesn't happen. But
WWE hasn't had a really good tag team breakup in like a very long time. Like,
Hey, we
don't
had
get me
Toxic
wrong.
for
Attraction
good
last week.
reason.
Wait,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
sorry.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Wait a minute.
That Toxic Attraction breakup like really set the internet on fire, and they haven't had one like that like prior to that. Like, we've seen plenty of tag teams break up, but it were things that like we're like they were barely a team to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Dawkins and Montez Ford have literally been a team for 5 years now at least. So those are one of those teams, and they've been champions so many times. They have so many loyal fans. Like, it would be one that really hurt. It would really sting.
Well, yeah.
And yeah, like, I'm not suggesting it, but if it's them versus the New Day, I'd rather them break up than the New Day. No offense to the
What?
yeah.
Why are we, okay. Wait,
Because that's the only. Think about it. That's the only
wait.
long. That's the only long-term tenured
Mari.
team. Those are the two other than the
Mari.
Usos, who are the current champions. It is literally the Street Profits and the New Day.
Mari, I need you to stop trying to break up the Black Wrestling tag teams and break up Chad Gable and Otis. Like, what is
But
wrong
that's
with
what I'm
you?
saying. Nobody
Chad
would
and Otis.
care if Chad Gable and Otis breaks up, because
And that's why we should
they've
do
been
it.
tagging for like 2 years. You know,
what?
they were originally in different tag teams. Like, I would not care, you know? I don't think a lot of people would care. So that's what I
Somebody
mean. I
would.
mean, like, the longest tenured tag teams are the Usos, the New Day, the Street Profits, technically the Viking Raiders, you know?
What is the
but
line,
not
though?
on WWE.
But there's a line that I think is really important to hit. And it's like you don't want to break them up too soon. You don't want to break them up where like one of the teammates might flounder. You don't, but so I worry for Dawkins if they do break up, because I don't think he has that same footing. And so that's like, I wouldn't touch it. Now, the New Day could get away with having a breakup, and actually, that's a whole other conversation. But like, you know, we have seen all of those members standing on their own. Dawkins, don't do that to Dawkins, Mari.
Well, I don't know. Dawkins has been doing really well lately. Like, he's like been very good. He was very good in his match that he lost. You know what I'm saying?
He's good. He's great.
Yeah.
It's just like the fans aren't there in that same way that they are for Montez. I don't want to go back to that Mari Jannetty conversation from last week. It's a dark one, and nobody should be the Mari Jannetty.
And honestly, I would want them to give it time. Like, that's a storyline that would take you breathe a lot of time. Like, I would really want them to draw it out like as long as they possibly could. But well, you know, we're just talking. We're just talking, right?
Like he turned on him around SummerSlam time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's like supportive, like, man, and he's like Montez doing all this stuff. Then he gets a main event match and against a big name. He's like, "Oh, look at that's my boy!" And he's like, "Wait a minute, why ain't that me?"
Yeah.
Exactly. So I did find an article from Forbes back in January that they're saying that Dave Meltzer, take it with a grain of salt, said that apparently WrestleMania 39 is looking to be John Cena versus Austin Theory. Says nothing about the titles, but it says that they may have filmed yet to be aired backstage segments. So when John Cena came back to SmackDown in December, that him and Austin Theory may have filmed content together that has not been released yet. So, I mean, take all of that with a grain of salt. Who knows? But WrestleMania is in Hollywood, so yeah. All right.
I'm so excited, Mari.
I know. Let's take a quick break and we will be right back. All right. So
that break took forever.
We got to get back to work, AJ. We can't just sit around.
Oh my God. Yeah. Capitalism. Gosh. Like, staying in.
No CS over here.
5 different seconds. Yeah.
So let's talk about the women's elimination chamber match. Like choking over here. So this is for the number 1 contender to face Bianca at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. It is not a full moon tonight, so we have Raquel Rodriguez versus Nikki Cross versus Liv Morgan versus Asuka versus Natalya versus Carmella. So those are the 6 women we have in the chamber match.
Oh, no,
so
we are excited. We are. I don't know where you were gonna go with that, but like the women, the chamber, back in the day, they didn't used to have these. It's just such a gift and a blessing, and
it
so
is
thankful.
Yes.
And all we have to say is great, positive things, right, Mari?
Yes, true. We do
only positive about everyone in this match.
We do, but this kind of feels like a speed bump to what I feel like we all know what the true story is. So it's kind of like, I love logical storytelling. I just wish there was a little bit more disbelief into who might be winning this. But it was very clear on Monday. It's been kind of clear and telegraphed for the last couple of weeks. And again, I'm not mad at it. I'm just like, okay, like it's kind of like I'm ready for us to get to what we're really setting up for. So on Monday, Bianca is sick and tired of sitting in the back. We know she is a fighting champion. We know she wants to fight the best. She said it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And, she actually decides to take on Bianca. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. Too many B's. To take on Bayley and Becky. Because Bayley and Becky want a chance to get into the Elimination Chamber match. Bianca says, "I will fight you both. If one of you guys win in a triple threat match, then one of you guys can enter." And then Adam Pearce says the way that they could do that is if somebody else gets added to the chamber, because there's already 6 people in there, then the match will just start off as a triple threat as opposed to like 2-on-2 with 4 people in the chamber. I think that's actually pretty genius. I don't mind that. When they said that, I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of cool." I thought that was like really, really cool thought process.
Has that happened before?
Stan? Like, I don't know.
AJ?
I know. Not to
you guys are putting me on the spot here.
So. No, I don't think so.
Put us all on the spot.
It should have.
Yeah, I just felt like when he said it, I was like, "You're making things up. You can't put in 7 people. The aerodynamics of the
No, hold on. Wait, 7 people in the chamber has happened.
I know, right? That's what I was saying.
It has happened. And the way that Adam Pearce explained it, like it starts as a triple threat and then the other 4 competitors are in the pods. Yeah, like that's how it happened in the past. So yes.
Yeah, the past. No, don't ask. Mari.
No, this has happened. I know for a fact that it has. I just can't name you the year off the top of my head.
Nope, I think I found it.
I remember this now. It was back 2018. In the day. Yes.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, 2018.
2018.
List out the people.
Kurt Angle announced a 7-man elimination chamber match because he added Seth and Finn Balor. So it ended up being
Miz, Elias, Cena, Finn, Seth, Braun, and Roman.
Yeah. Yes, because Seth Rollins and Finn pinned Bray Wyatt simultaneously. So, all right, so it's happened. There's precedence for it.
Yeah.
So he wasn't just
but like yeah, no, what? But in what world?
That's pretty cool.
In what world did you think it could happen?
No, because I felt like how do you choose out of Becky and Bailey? That was literally the only reason why I thought it wouldn't happen, because I was like, why would you put in Bailey and then Becky's out in the cold? Why would you put in Becky and Bailey's out in the cold? Like, I would have wanted them both to enter, and then that's way too many people.
Plus also Bianca's Bianca, so we
Yeah.
got that ultimately. But yeah, I don't know. I for some reason it didn't even like go through my mind that this was gonna affect the chamber match. So.
Not at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I also thought, well, all 6 women are there. They'd be dumb not to interfere in this match to make sure that another person wouldn't be entered, let alone a Becky or a Bailey. So I was like, there's no way. There's no way. They should have probably just went in there and hit Bianca immediately, so that it would have been a disqualification, to be quite honest. So yes, I think this basically what I thought this did was Bianca takes on Becky and Bailey. It furthers Becky and Bailey's storyline about being so consumed with each other that they're taking their eyes off the prize, which is good and all, but it's also a storyline that we just saw with Becky and Asuka not too long ago. So it's kind of like, okay. But it also shows like Bianca's like, I beat you both before, so I can beat you both again. So I love that it's Bianca flexing that she's like, I am the top dog. It is me. I am she. I am her. And then on top of it, like I said, those other girls really like literally had to come out. Like that'd be so stupid if they didn't. It wouldn't have made any sense. But I think the biggest thing we got to get to is the reason they were there was because they had a Raw versus SmackDown, the 3 women from Raw versus the 3 women from SmackDown match earlier in that night, and it really just dissolved into chaos when Asuka just literally started hitting everybody.
Yeah.
AJ, what did you think about this? Yeah.
I loved it so freaking much with my entire heart and soul. I just love Asuka being a badass. Like, NXT Asuka was like my favorite Asuka, and that's when she was like an unstoppable monster. And I'm like, oh, cool, we're giving Asuka unstoppable powers again. I like it. And plus, I think you have like some fun characters in there that's like willing to sell, like Carmella, who's very cartoonish. So I think it's like good because these aren't like their biggest women stars, so like they can afford to like take a big bump from Asuka, which is fine. Which I enjoyed it. Also, I get the Bianca stuff. Bianca's a fighting champion. She is that girl. We'll never forget it. Hey Bianca, how you doing? But with all that being said, like I will tell you my fear with this entire Elimination Chamber and match and stuff is WrestleMania. I love Bianca. I want Bianca to like retain. I don't want Asuka to lose though. Like that's my fear. I don't want Asuka to lose at WrestleMania like solo again. Like my mind just flashes back to her facing Charlotte. And it's like, oh, I want Asuka to have her winning moment at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I agree with that. Stan, how about you?
Yeah, I think the only way to go is to have Asuka win. I mean, AJ's right. This is the dark, unstoppable Asuka from the Joshi scene that WWE fans have wanted to see for so long, right? And for us to finally get here, it would be a missed opportunity if we didn't see Asuka going after the Raw Women's Championship. So I think that's the only way to go. And I honestly don't see anyone else winning. I'd love to be surprised though, but you know, Asuka's the only way here.
Right. Matt.
Well, you know what? Just to spice up, but look at another way. Because here's my problem: like the WWE and their graphics, and I brought this up on the last podcast, but like they keep putting the winners of these matches like front and center, right in the middle, and it annoys me because Asuka is front and center. But you know, maybe. And this is going to be my prediction, and I'm happy to be wrong, but maybe there's a world where somehow, some way, Carmella, who did just return, who has had like a good little streak since returning, you know, doing her little Carmella things, whatever those are, you know, like she could pull it out and she could be Bianca's opponent at Mania. It wouldn't be the most exciting opponent, but we would get a strong heel versus face dynamic, people would be booing. Maybe the match, maybe the fact that it's Carmella, and the match would deliver though, and you'd have Bianca get her win. It's just like I don't love the Asuka Bianca match. It could be a really competitive, like hard hitting match, babyface versus babyface, but like kind of like we were saying, like who do we want to lose there? And it just doesn't feel good if it's either of them losing. So that's how I'm having a hard time.
I don't know. I definitely disagree. First off, I don't want it to be Carmella because we've seen it. Like
Well, a million times.
Bianca fought Carmella so many times leading up to her losing the belt to Becky a few years ago. So I mean, they have great chemistry together. They have amazing chemistry together. The matches were all really good. It's just the problem is we've just seen them way too many times. But I don't think
agreed.
Asuka's not a face here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, she's just debuting this character. I think after she wins the chamber, and this is why I'm saying I really want to get to the rest of the storyline, she's gonna go darker. I think she's gonna go darker because one of a very underestimated portion of her career was when she was a heel in NXT. Like people forget for a second there she was a heel until she was just too cool that they turned it into an unstoppable babyface gimmick. But when she was a heel and she was like hanging poolside, she was always in her suits, like very good promo work, like as a heel. I like that's what I want to see, but I want to see the darker Joshi Asuka because I haven't really seen it, you know. And I think she's just going to get darker and darker, and I want to see how they do that in a way that's like I don't want them to like lean on anything supernatural that much. I know she does like a good crazy, I want her to see what she does with a crazy gimmick. It felt like in this instance when she's hitting everybody, it felt like a crazy gimmick, but it also felt like she was like smiling a little bit too much. Like I want to see darker, and I think she can deliver darker. And it doesn't matter who wins. I would much rather have Asuka versus Bianca at WrestleMania, where I don't care who wins because I think both of them can carry the program, than to have like my thought process. If Asuka doesn't win this, sadly, I think it might be Raquel, and that would be the darkest timeline.
What?
Yeah, I think it would be Raquel
Marnie.
Rodriguez. Yes,
No.
yes.
Hold up, where's this Raquel Rodriguez hate coming from?
No, Mari, no,
They're
it's not.
trying to make fetch happen. So
no, they're not.
Yes, they are. Like
they know they can't. They know it won't happen.
They do not know. They are still pushing her. So, I
Unless
would much
Dan
rather
disagrees, but
I would go.
No,
with the
I just
sure
want to
bet,
know
and
where the
Asuka.
Raquel hate's coming from.
We are not. I'm not a fan of Raquel.
She has a strong, like muscular back, and that's it.
Does she?
She does
Like,
that pose with the back.
She does the
out.
pose.
Yeah,
I know the
You
pose.
see the muscles.
The
I mean,
Raquel
I dig
hate,
the whole big strong woman shtick. I dig it.
but
Yeah, you
she's
do.
not strong. Like that is my thing. They keep pushing her as the big strong woman stick, but every time they've given her the strong woman spot, she has not pulled it off. I'm sorry. I will never let the Money in the Bank spot go. Like it was horrendous. Like she has not pulled that off. They think she's stronger than she truly is. They are giving her spots that she cannot reliably pull off when you have Bianca and Rhea pulling them off like it's the easiest thing in the world. I'm sorry. Like they're trying to make it happen and it's not happening for me. So
I love how Matt's just like leading back into the
I
curtain.
don't want to be here. I'm just like, please leave. What's her real name?
I'm
Leave her
sorry.
alone. Leave the
I
actor who
can't.
plays Raquel Rodriguez alone. Just like
It's the character that I do not like because I think they're pushing something that she just can't deliver on, personally.
I mean, to be fair, it's not much of a character, but I see your point.
Exactly. So I said all that to say that I think it's gonna be Asuka, and I think even if it's Asuka, and if it's Asuka versus Bianca at WrestleMania, I wouldn't mind Asuka winning. Like AJ says, you give Asuka her WrestleMania moment, and then you have Bianca chase for a little bit. Like Bianca is so good in the chase. We haven't seen her chase in over a year. Like she'll be fine. Like I think it'll be fine. So I would much rather go with that than anything else. Stan, we'll go with you. What are your thoughts? Who you picking?
Yeah, I picked Asuka earlier.
Right.
I just figured it's the only match I want to see for Bianca at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
right? And if I had to
Mhm.
call my shot of who finally unseats Bianca after a 1-year championship reign, it's Dark Asuka.
Exactly. AJ,
Like
I.
Bianca said it best. She says she wants to fight the best. And
Mhm.
respect to all these other women. Get out the way. It's to
Yeah.
Asuka. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Let's move on. I love the Judgment Day of it all. Let's talk about Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. I don't know if you guys saw this. I didn't include it in the highlights or the show notes, but um Rhea Ripley and Dom had a Valentine's Day date. They managed to interrupt Rey Mysterio and his wife again for Valentine's Day. It wasn't as funny as the Christmas and
We-
Thanksgiving skits, but it was still kind of funny. But I am excited for this match, the Edge and Beth Phoenix and Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley match.
Hold on, can we
Mostly
go back to the Valentine's Day? Because I
Oh,
got
yeah,
thoughts
sorry,
on
yeah.
that.
What the hell? Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
yeah,
I was like, I thought.
I got
Sorry.
feelings.
Please.
Oh, you got
please.
feelings here? Share them.
All right. I don't know how you guys feel about Ray going on a Valentine's date without with his mask on. All right, because I
Whatever
respect
floats
the
your
whole
boat.
trying
I
to keep
mean-
your identity in secret still 20 plus years into your WWE run. But man, I mean, it's Valentine's Day, Ray. Come on. That being said,
Keep going.
I appreciate a woman who's willing to throw out them dollar bills and just whoop them out. No questions asked if your credit card doesn't work. To me, that is so hot. That is big step on me energy. Yes, please, mommy. Yes.
Stan's all hot over there. Yes, I agree. It was really funny. Honestly, I'm fine with Ray wearing a mask because I've seen Rey Mysterio's face and I still don't feel right about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel right about it. I'm like, sir, cover up. Like I don't know. It feels like I'm
Yeah.
imposing. So I'm all for the mask.
Like you see him
during
Wednesday.
Valentine's.
When Wednesday was popular on Netflix, there was this
Yes.
like Gorgon. He put on the towel above the mirror so that way he didn't see himself in the mirror. I feel like Ray did that with his mask. He's like, I don't want to see myself without this mask on.
Exactly that. And his wife, I forget Angie.
Angie.
Yeah, Angie. Yeah. Oh my God, her just staring dead into the camera, like sipping champagne, like just laughing the whole entire time. I'm like, she doesn't even care. She like it was so funny. I did like I said, I did like the skit. Dominic's credit card being declined, him running out of there because he thinks the police are there to get him.
Yes. That was the best.
It was cute. It was
Never
cute.
again.
Yeah. But it doesn't really have any bearing on this match. But I really can't wait to see this. I think this is going to do a few things. It's going to further the Edge and Finn Balor storyline. I think we're thinking about there, we might get that at WrestleMania, and then hopefully it makes Rhea look strong. It's giving her an opponent. It's giving her something to do before she faces Charlotte at WrestleMania. And again, I say it all the time, like we need to bring back these old heads to help bolster the you know what I mean. I'm not calling anybody old, but you know what I'm saying. The OGs, we need to bring them back to help them bolster the reputation of the full-time roster. And I think this is just a perfect way to utilize both Edge and Beth Phoenix in a very meaningful way. Of course, there'll be shenanigans because I'm sure Dom will be ringside. It'll be a way. I'm assuming it'll be a way to get heat on Rhea because I'm still going to assume that Rhea will be the heel going into this match with Charlotte.
Right.
So yeah, so I think it's gonna be a really good match, and I kind of hope it's brutal too. I would love for them to do like a no holds barred mixed tag match or something like that. That'd be so cool. But alas, AJ, your thoughts?
I'm super excited. Like honestly, co-sign everything that you just said, Mari. Like because one of the things that turned me off with WWE is when like they bring back old heads. I'll call them old. I don't care. When old heads come back and just like go over the younger, fresher talent. And like Rhea's hot. Like Rhea's so hot right now. and like I like need to see her succeed. Especially with this Judgment Day storyline. I'm very invested in how it's going with what Finn Balor's doing. I love Finn Balor as well. Like,
Mhm.
I'm thoroughly excited for this match. I think the second most excited match I am on for this card. Minus
Nice.
minus Roman and Sami. Like, this is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Matt, how about you?
Look, this is it's great that we're getting to this match, and again that the story, like it, we could have more matches in this story down the line with Judgment Day and Edge and all of that. I do like this use of Edge. Like the roster is so stacked. So whenever I think about any of this in relation to WrestleMania, I'm like, I'm wondering who's not going to be on the like who's just planning on taking vacation and missing WrestleMania on purpose, because we have so many options and so many people in there. But I am thrilled for this, like for Rhea in particular, to have this opportunity against Beth, because I know that Beth's going to deliver. Obviously, Rhea will deliver, but I do think that we could have a world where, yes, Dominic shenanigans will happen, but I would really love Rhea to get the pin clean here, or as clean as possible, just to prove like I'm ready for WrestleMania. And I think that if that's how it ends, then I'll be really happy with this match.
Yeah, I really think that we can get a lot of shenanigans, but a lot of like good shenanigans, because Beth and Rhea don't mind mixing it up with the guys. So I love that. I love when they let the women and men like chop it up a little bit. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of that. I also think we could, like, now that I'm like really light bulb moment thinking that because the Judgment Day will outnumber Edge and Beth, even barring if Damian is in the back either recovering from the Elimination Chamber or getting ready for the Elimination Chamber, it's still Dom out on the ringside. Maybe Rey comes out and helps, Rey Mysterio comes out, evens the playing field, and maybe it leads us towards Dom and Rey at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things you could do here. So, and I just thought about that. So I think that would make a lot of sense too. So you get a lot of outside the ring shenanigans. But like Matt says, at the end of the day, I do think the right move here would be for Rhea to get the pin, to make her look stronger. So yeah, this match is this is one of those matches, like, it doesn't matter about like the titles or anything. It's just like you can't wait to see what they're gonna throw at us, because these people work very, very well together. So I'm really excited to see some of the spots and some of the passion like between yeah, I'm great. I like this. So I definitely think Judgment Day is gonna win this hands down. Or we all agreed like Rhea and Finn are gonna win this. More than likely, Rhea, taking Finn. I know it's so boring when we agree, but guys, like, again, they are telegraphing a lot of stuff on this premium live event, which is fine because it is WrestleMania. Tell us the stories, finish the story. So
yeah, and you know what?
Like, for the sake of a shocker is not fun. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think the other thing is,
sorry,
like,
Matt, go ahead.
oh no, yeah, no, we just kind of like, you need like your peaks, but you also need your valleys. And I feel like this pay-per-view is a valley where it's like, okay, we got we'll get the Roman Sami dynamic, whatever it is, but I don't think there's going to be anything that has us leaving on like a really, really high note. And I think that's okay, because like WrestleMania is right around the corner, and it'll just be like hit after hit after hit, like probably 15 different matches where we'll be like, oh my gosh, I love this. So I'm okay with the nothing burger ish stuff.
Yeah, it's like
I
paving
wouldn't
the
go
way.
so far. I wouldn't go so far as to call it a nothing burger just because it's predictable. Because to Mari's point about predictability, it's okay when it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, to us as longtime wrestling fans, as adult people, having seen wrestling for like majority of our lives, it may come across as predictable. But there's some kid out there who's probably watching Elimination Chamber, and that's their first premium live event, and they're probably gonna go nuts because they have no idea what's about to happen this weekend. So I guess it's also a matter of perspective in terms of the predictability of it all, which is something I've come to accept as I've gotten older.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with predictability within this too, because like you're telling stories, and there should be some level of predictability, because that means it's like, oh, okay, like this story makes sense rather than swerving us for the sake of swerving us. So, I guess, like, to your point, Sam, like, yeah, there will be those kids who are like over the moon. I just like that. I feel like we're getting solid stories. With the Rumble winners, the biggest complaint I heard that those were predictable winners between Cody and Rhea, but not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that I think as wrestling fans often associate like predictability with being negative or lazy or whatever it might be, which like I know how pissed we'd be if they swerved us on those winners and went in a different direction, because like who else other than Rhea, for example. So yeah, and I'll be into this match. Like I'm all about like the intergender wrestling, and I think we'll get a little bit of it. Like we made a good point earlier just about like Finn's a relatively small competitor. Dom, we saw him got beaten down already. Edge, he's been beaten down by Rhea already too. So let's go. I want Beth and Rhea to just, I was gonna say dominate. But I feel like that's a little bit too close to home.
Get involved, Matt.
Yeah.
But like, like I think it also helps. Like these are really good storytellers that are involved. Like they can on the mic and in the ring, like they can like tell a good story, and like we as the fans are like thoroughly invested. Like we might not be like super invested in like the match per se, but like what's coming down. Like okay, I'm excited for the possibilities. Like Mario, you got so excited when you thought about the ideas of what they could do. So predictability ain't a bad thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's go over to Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Like, I don't know why this wasn't like officially listed on the CBS Sports match card that I pulled, but it's done. Like we are getting it. They signed they made that big deal about signing that contract. Do we care about Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley here?
I'll answer first. The answer is no. The answer is
wow.
Right.
How dare you?
How is the answer no?
Like I
AJ
don't need to see like these two big men that has nothing to do just go at it in a ring for like 10 minutes. Like I'm
big meaty men.
Like it's fine. Let me tell you something. The contract signings weren't interesting to me. Like neither of them. Like they were very predictable. I just love Bobby. Like my agent got to see this as well as my lawyer. My child also got to read this contract first. But besides that, it was like nothing special to me. Like it is two men that I know are physical and can go in the ring. But it's like I feel like if there's like a match that like I could take off this card, it's this match.
Wow. Same. And let me continue the case against, and then Stan will lead the four. I agree. Like I think that the storytelling to me doesn't make logical sense, because it feels like they're trying to make Bobby Lashley the bad guy here, when I'm like, Bobby Lashley was chilling, cooling, trying to get his championship back when Brock Lesnar, the hater, came and kept getting in his way. So now all of a sudden it's like Brock Lesnar is like, yeah, I want to beat up on Bobby Lashley, and because Bobby Lashley is kind of like, cool and chill about it, and I, like AJ said, I have to get people to read the contract. Like it's weird to me. It's weird. It feels like it should be flipped. Like, shouldn't Bobby be trying to beat the ever-loving brakes off of Brock, because Brock cost him the championship, the US championship twice? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't like it. Stan.
All right. The contract signing made sense to me because I thought that Bobby Lashley going the long-winded route was a way to sucker Brock in, which happened. He pissed Brock off to the point that Brock lost his cool, left the ring, and then bam, got hit with a spear. So to me, that made sense. Like it was Bobby Lashley's way of trying to one-up Brock, because as you said, Brock did cost Bobby the championship twice. And I think there's a long story here dating back to last year's Rumble, where Lashley did beat Brock for the WWE Championship. So there are still some loose ends that they can still call back to come this match. And I'm just sitting here waiting for the Hurt Business to reform. And I think that this Brock Lesnar match at the Chamber could very well be the vehicle for the Hurt Business to officially reform right before our very eyes.
Well, that would be good. Yeah, I would love that. I agree. I've been waiting. Matt, what about you? What are your thoughts?
I'm into this. I'm into this match. I'm into it because at the end of the day, the thing I really there is something kind of fresh about this story in that Brock Lesnar is he's the beast incarnate, and he's there to dominate, but he's not dominating, and he hasn't been dominating Bobby Lashley. Like Bobby Lashley tossed Brock Lesnar over his head like a child, like to the ground. Like that was, you don't see that happen to Brock. And so I feel like just with this story and with this ongoing feud, like in my eyes, Bobby Lashley is getting over more and more to the Brock Lesnar status. Bobby Lashley at multiple points in his career had no business being in the ring with someone like Brock Lesnar. I think just by associating them, we're getting Lashley into that legend, untouchable tier. And you know, what else? Like, I just feel like you could put Bobby in there with a lot of other people, whether it's because of their size or something else, and him winning isn't as impressive. But him beating Brock Lesnar, there's just so much more to gain. And him losing to Brock Lesnar, there's nothing to lose. And so there's nothing to losing to Brock Lesnar. Tell me that there's someone on the roster who should not lose to Brock Lesnar. It just doesn't make sense.
But I don't know. I feel like, but I feel like Brock Lesnar has always had the upper hand in their feud. Like he's won more times than he's lost. The matches, the matches, yes, the matches, and
that's what's on records.
But this is pro wrestling. This isn't MMA. This isn't football. This is the record doesn't. This isn't even AEW. The records don't freaking matter. When you get tossed over, so you're over a man's shoulder like a child, you look like a punk. And Brock Lesnar looked like a punk on Monday. And Bobby Lashley is the one who did it. So I'm just saying, Bobby's looking good to me. And I wouldn't have said that a year ago or 2 years ago.
Like those are
add to what Matt said
for someone without
just add to what Matt said.
What's that?
The
AJ?
fact that this feud isn't for any championship is so refreshing to me, because Brock Lesnar not being in the title picture, right? It's something that just seemed normal for the longest time, and the fact that these two big boys are just going at it just because, I think it's great.
Yeah. I just want more for Bobby. I want him to beat Lesnar clean. He's never beat Lesnar clean. He's never beat Brock Lesnar clean. Like, and as much as I do want to see the Hurt Business reform, I really do. Again, I would love to see Bobby win clean and finally get over that hump, because Bobby Lashley's hump is Brock Lesnar, and they do work well together. I'm actually surprised we're getting this at Elimination Chamber. I don't know what both of their roads for WrestleMania looks like. Do they run it back at WrestleMania? Like, very interesting to think about. But yeah, I mean, it's a match. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna go with Bobby. I want Bobby to win, so I'm gonna put it into the atmosphere. AJ, who do you want to win?
Who I want to win and what I think is going to happen are two different things.
Oh, Jesus.
I want Bobby.
Back me up here, AJ.
I want Bobby. But what my heart says is it's going to end in like a no contest, or like a situation where like neither man can get up, and it leads to like a last man standing match at WrestleMania or something.
Like it.
That's what I think is going to happen. So there's going to be no declared winner.
Stan?
Yeah, I'm with AJ here. I think they're gonna go all the way to WrestleMania in some Hell in a Cell match or Last Man Standing match. I just want to get the Hurt Business in here, get them involved. But ultimately, if Bobby Lashley wins and then this feud is over before WrestleMania, I'm fine too.
Matt?
Yeah. I don't
because
think there's
Ed, the great Edmo asked us, will this finally be the conclusion to Brock and Bobby?
No, I don't think so. And yeah, it's funny. I just feel like they've done so much. Like the last match they had, wasn't it Brock winning with a roll up, like out of nowhere? that's
Something like that.
Yeah, while
that's
the Hurt Lock was locked in.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's and even then, I really liked that finish because I felt like, ooh, that like no one would like if Brock Lesnar was in a match with anyone, and he rolled them up, like he's gonna get the win because no one's expecting that. But I similarly had the thought that I don't know what they're gonna break, but I feel like they're gonna destroy a lot of things, and this is gonna lead to another match at Mania because look, they're 2 nights of WrestleMania nowadays, and that's 15 or so matches. I think it was last year was 16 or 17 matches or so. So this one makes sense. Like I just don't see another place for Bobby or for Brock, especially at Mania. So let's do it. I mean, I would be pumped for a Mania match between these two if it's just like all out brawl. Maybe we'll get a street fight. Maybe we'll get a parking lot brawl. I don't know what they need to do, but this isn't the end of it. Sorry, Edmo. I'm sorry.
I just need Bobby to come out on top. That's all I need.
Me too. That's what I would like as well. Exactly. So that's it for the like on paper, like the promoted matches. There is some chatter about maybe Damage Control, including Bailey versus Becky and Lita, and a third. And people are speculating, could that third be Trish? Would they waste that on Elimination Chamber? Oh, it's in Canada.
No, this is not this match. This match is not happening. Like it cannot happen at Elimination Chamber because you know how embarrassing that would be if you're gonna have a match that's that big and then you don't really build it at all. Like how are they gonna announce it on social media? So I was so happy this past Monday when they didn't really advance the story because I thought, okay, they're saving this for Mania. So I want that match at WrestleMania.
But they're in
Yeah,
Canada.
the era of impromptu matches at PLEs is long past us. You know, it's long gone.
Plus,
So
like
you don't.
Lita's not Canadian. I mean, I know Canadians like Lita, you know. Becky's not Canadian.
But
Trish
Trish Stratus is.
She's busy, probably. She's booked and busy, isn't she? On like America's Got Talent, Canada's Got Talent.
I like it how you have exclusive access to her schedule.
What?
I know.
do.
Right?
She shared her Google Calendar with me,
Well,
and
yeah, Google.
Yeah.
Maybe we get something at Elimination Chamber. Maybe it's not a
Right.
match, but maybe it's something that advances the storyline to WrestleMania. Maybe we
That'd be
get
nice.
Damage Control. Yeah, maybe we get a backstage segment where Damage Control try to jump Becky and Lita, and then Trish comes out to help, and then we have a setup for WrestleMania or something like that. Because currently, Damage Control does not have. It's not looking like they have much storylines. Bailey is. Oh shit! But Bailey and Becky. Well, maybe you can still do Bailey and Becky at WrestleMania, and then you do Team Bestie, Lita and Trish versus Damage Control at
Do you want that?
WrestleMania.
Do you want that, or do you want the six woman match?
I mean, you do need to defend the women's tag team championships.
Exactly. That part. Damage Control needs to defend, and there's not that many teams. And Lita and Trish winning those belts, because those belts weren't around when they were around, would be kind of cool. Even if they only even if they win it and like vacate it or something like that. Like that would be kind of cool. Or they win it and then like the Raw after Mania, somebody premieres and they lose it there. That would have to be a big team there. But we did get a question from Derek in the Facebook group. He says, does Trish show up? Is there a Bailey Damage Control segment that leads to a Becky Lita Trish trio to start a Mania program? Oh shoot, I did not. I swear I did not read that before. I said
I swore you read it too, even before talking about that. So shout out to Derek for reading minds.
Maybe he inceptioned me. Yeah, no, exactly. So I could see that. I could how are you in Canada? And if Trish is available, you got to get Trish in there some way, shape, or form. But
she is doing Canada's Got Talent. Like,
you're right, AJ. I'm sorry.
AJ, what's her talent?
Flippy stuff.
flipping stuff. Her talent wasn't even flipping stuff when she was wrestling. No, it wasn't.
What was her talent, Mari?
Not
What was her
flippy
talent?
stuff.
Stratisfaction.
Satisfaction, yeah.
Mm.
All right. Well,
Mm.
anything else before we wrap up the highlights of the week? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about wrestling, Stan?
No, I'm good on my end. I'm always excited for Elimination Chamber just because it's a fun time of year. It also happens the same time as All-Star Weekend for the NBA, so
Yeah.
it's when my two fandoms collide. It's my favorite weekend of the year.
AJ, final thoughts?
I'm excited for what's to come. I expect it to be good matches because you do have some high caliber wrestlers in the ring on Saturday. But I think I can speak for like a lot of disgruntled wrestling fans where it's like, the road WrestleMania, we always come back. And
Yeah.
this is an interesting one in my humble opinion. So I'm excited.
Yes. Matt?
Mari, I'm good on Elimination Chamber. I could have talked about the Trish, the Lita of it all. I do feel like Damage Control will probably drag Lita out tied up, and Trish will be the savior because they're besties and all. But what I want to talk about is the other main event happening this weekend. Mercedes Moné
Oh
and
yeah.
Kyrie. That's this weekend.
Yeah. My
You
bad.
forgot about your girl?
I did
You
not
forgot about your
forget.
girl? You forgot
I
about
did
your
not
girl?
forget.
Huh? You get the graphic, Mari. How do you feel about
We're
this?
waiting
Do you
for
want
it
to
to
just
load.
address? Do you just want to address this?
Yes.
No,
So
it's on the it's there. It's there on the podcast.
So this weekend, on the same day, New Japan's Battle in the Valley is happening, and I mean, long awaited match. The technically the in-ring debut of Mercedes Moné, aka formerly known as Sasha Banks, versus the champion Kyrie. I mean, this match is just gonna slap. I mean, come on. They had great chemistry in the WWE, working with limited, move sets, mind you, maybe a little bit. And now they get to duke it out on New Japan Pro Wrestling for this. So for the IWGP Women's Championship. So I'm excited. It's long overdue. A lot of people are already talking like, oh, did Mercedes wait too long to capitalize on all the buzz she was getting from, Wrestle Kingdom and stuff like that? It doesn't matter. They're going to step in the ring and they're going to show out and we're going to watch. So I'm excited. Oh, I don't know. Well, I got to see what
How are
time
we
does it come
gonna?
on? Does it come on at the? I mean, we'll
I
figure
feel
it
like we're
out.
gonna be asleep no matter what.
I mean,
No,
we're
it's
gonna
happening around the
we're
same time, right, as the chamber.
yeah, it is because it's
Uh,
in San Jose or San Diego, so it is in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
U.S.
yeah.
yeah, San
Yeah, it's in
Jose.
the U.S., so it's not like a crazy time.
It's not going to be
Yeah.
at my time slot, so yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it might. I
We'll
wonder if it's
figure.
gonna be like.
We can
I
watch it.
wonder if it will be like after the chamber, so maybe that'll be a long night.
No. It's going to be happening at the same time.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm just worried. Those
Matt
West
is
Coast people
scared.
do things way too late. Way too late for us East Coast people. But no, like it'll be a great match. We'll check it out. And so many people were talking previously about just Mercedes' appearance during the Wrestle Kingdom.
Wrestle Kingdom, yeah.
Yes, that's what happened. It was a long time ago.
Mhm.
But yeah, like a lot of people were talking about that. They're like, oh my god, they botched this one move. I don't think we're gonna see any mistakes at all. I will knock on wood because Mari is getting upset that I'm jinxing them. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this. And Mari, you're still not going to be in San Jose for this one. This coming
I
weekend. No?
will not. No, I cannot do that. But we'll be keeping up and we'll be
will.
catching up.
We
So
will.
that's it for the highlights of the week in wrestling. Thank
Hey,
you
hang
for
on.
joining.
I got some thoughts
Oh,
on Mercedes.
wait.
and
I'm sorry,
Kyrie.
Stan. My bad.
No worries. I just wanted to get it in there before
Please.
we ended the pod. I think that this match means a lot more to Mercedes than a lot of us think, just because there's a lot of pressure on her shoulders after that tepid response at Wrestle Kingdom. So I actually know
epic.
someone who was at the show. And he said that when, like he said from his standpoint in the audience, when she came out, there really wasn't much of a response. So I think if Mercedes wants to capture the fascination, the attention of the Japanese fans, this is her biggest platform to actually do it. I think that there's a lot riding on this match, more than people would like to believe. And while I think Mercedes is most likely winning the championship, I think her performance is really what's going to be emphasized on and be under a microscope. So this is going to be interesting post-Elimination Chamber viewing for a lot of us.
Yeah, oh, good point. Interesting. Tepid response. I did not know that. So and it makes I guess it makes sense. It's a different audience. She still has to prove herself to a different audience.
Yeah,
sure.
So I'm excited. I can't wait to see it. Hopefully it works. Hopefully like the time and stuff works. And double screens. There's a reason why we have multiple devices in homes now. So now that's it for the highlights of the week. Of course, again, all of the highlights of the week can be found in a very special handy dandy playlist here in the show notes or show descriptions. Thank you both for being with us. AJ, can you tell the people where they can find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Norris. That's where I retweet anything I am doing. Me and Jay, we're back from our hiatus. Two Can't Keep a Secret. We're talking about Pretty Little Liars. It's a mess of a show. We did evoke the name of Crime Scene because of the mystery element, but it's a good time. Come join us. Have fun.
Yes. Stan, what about you? What you up to? Where can the people find you?
I'm on social media at _StanC. That's _STANSY. When I'm not podcasting about wrestling, I'm podcasting about the radio industry, which is called On Deck with Stancy. I'm bringing it back for a 5th season. It's happening in March.
I'm a fan.
I'm going to talk about my very short-lived radio comeback, so that should be a treat. And if you're listening from the Philippines, go catch Elimination Chamber on Disney Plus over here on our side of the world. So
okay.
that's where you can find WWE PLEs on Disney Plus here in the Philippines.
That's pretty cool. Matt, how about you? What you're up to? What's going on? Where can they find you?
Thanks for asking, Mari. They can find me at Matt Scotchy W on the platforms. And when I'm not talking about wrestling, you can find me on Pod Friends talking with people about people. Mari, you've been a guest. Stan, you've been a guest. AJ is ducking and dodging me, but will one day be a guest. He knows how it is. We'll get there. But you can find more of Pod Friends at RHAP's website. .com/podfriendsfeed and subscribe. And I know that I'll leave it to Mari to plug a thing for the Wrestling RHAPUp that we're going to do because she's so great at plugging things really to us. But I will say that I will be doing an Instagram takeover for on behalf of Pod Friends, I'll say, but I'm sure I'll probably mention wrestling in the this coming Tuesday, February 21st on the RHAPgrams RHAP Instagram Live. So there's a lot happening. There'll be a Pod Friends interview live, a bunch of stuff like that. But before that, Mari, what are we gonna be doing on the RHAP Instagram on this coming Saturday? Did I just give it all away?
I totally didn't forget about that. We will be taking over RHAPgrams, the Wrestling RHAPup.
We're done.
Oh, okay.
Wow, it was gonna be me on Saturday by myself and on Tuesday by myself. Okay.
Yes, if you haven't already, go subscribe to the RHAPgrams Instagram. That's RHAPgrams, where all month your favorite podcasters have been taking over different days. I already did it with Crime Scene with Sarah a week ago, literally. Yeah, a week ago. Yeah. So me and Matt will be taking over it on Saturday. Because, of course, Elimination Chamber will be on, plus Battle in the Valley. So join us. We're going to have, Ask Me Anythings. We'll be showing you what we'll be up to the day of the Elimination Chamber.
Sure.
pretty sure we will be doing that is like we will be having some commentary during Elimination Chamber. We might go live depending on what happens. So you gotta follow RHAP in order to catch us live. Also, please, again, if you haven't subscribed to the Wrestling RHAPup podcast, please subscribe by going to robhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed. If you want more of me, you can follow me on Twitter. That's at Mari Talks Too Much, 2 like the number 2. I post everything that I guest on over there. And of course, like I just mentioned, me and Sarah Carradine bring you True Crime Tuesdays every week over on the Crime Scene podcast. We are doing big things. We just dropped the episode about stolen youth. It is the Hulu docu-series about the Sarah Lawrence cult, and me and Sarah were joined by an amazing guest, Katie from the A Date with Dateline Girls podcast. A Date with Dateline, but the podcast is amazing. Their podcast is amazing. It was so great to have Katie on with us. It was one of my favorite episodes to record. And then on top of that, for you wrestling fans, next week's episode, we will have none other than the Podfather himself, Rob Sesternino, on with us on Crime Scene, talking about Dangerous Breed, Crimes, Cons, and Cats, about Teddy Hart. It is yes, the Wrestling RHAPup meets Crime Scene, where we talked about a docuseries that followed Teddy Hart and his very, very dangerous lifestyle that may have led to a woman going missing, where she is still currently missing as of 6 years today. So it was very fun recording with Rob, of course, and again, that will come out next Tuesday. So go and subscribe to Crime Scene Wrestling fans by going to robhasawebsite.com/crime feed to subscribe there. Of course,
Mari.
Yes,
I'm gonna need the logistics of where to find that Teddy Hart documentary, because that man.
Oh yeah, sorry, it is on Peacock.
Peacock.
Surprise. Yeah, it is on Peacock.
Did they talk about all of his cats?
Oh yeah, they talked about
how he tried to train them to wrestle.
It is so a little sneak peek. We basically compared it to it was like wrestling's version of the Tiger King. They wanted it to be wrestling's version of the Tiger King, because that's how over the top Teddy Hart is in this docu-series. Yeah, the well, I wouldn't say that. The docu-series was recorded over basically almost like a 10-year period. So it was very, very interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting. So I would definitely say go check that out on Peacock, and then give us a listen next week when it drops. So you can follow us at Wrestling RHAPup on Twitter. That's at Wrestling RHAPUP. You can also tag us using hashtag Wrestling RHAPup. You can join our official Facebook group, the Job Has a Squadcast Facebook group. Just reach out to us, DM us, we'll get you in there. And finally, of course, anytime is a great time to become a patron of RHAP by joining the RHAP Patreon by going to www.patreon.com/RHAP, where you'll get exclusive access to patron-only podcasts, patron-only games, like early drops, all sorts of good stuff. And right before the Survivor season, it's the perfect time. So go and subscribe there and let them know that the Wrestling RHAPup sent you. So that is a bye from me, Matt, AJ, and Stan.
Mari, before you do it, put your championship back on. Put that belt back on. You should be proud.
Yes.
There we go.
Flex that.
From the fantasy football champion. Remember, wrestling is for everybody, but not all wrestling is for everyone. Bye.
Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling RHAPup's gonna make you sorry. Feeling like The Rock, cause I'm driving in Ferraris, and we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Moolah Ric Flair, Showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, From a rings and we win it, don't care, no cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling RHAPUp's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like the Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.